Okay, so we are live. So I just like to welcome staff and the rest of council, and as well any public that's tuned in tonight to this public hearing process. We have a couple meetings on the go tonight. This is a public hearing for 3 bylaws, and also our regular council meeting immediately following that. So for those of you tuning in at home, stick around if you can for both sessions, and follow through with the way council does business. And so we have 3 bylaws to in our public hearing tonight that's for public input. So this public hearing, before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that this process is taking place on the unceded lands of the Subasset First Nations, where we love to live, work, and play together. So with that, I'll call this public meeting to order. And this public meeting has been called to deal with the bylaw amendments to the official community plan, bylaw 1022-2019, and the zoning bylaw number 935-2013. As per the requirements of the Local Government Act, the public will have an opportunity to provide input on the proposed amending bylaws numbered 10053-2021 and 1054-2021 and 1061-2021. So with that, I'd like to explain the process. Before I get into the actual process itself, I would just like to everybody who's watching and is planning on calling in to give a public input, that here are the numbers you can call in. If you want to access the Zoom meeting itself, you can dial 1-778-907-2071. And when you're prompted, enter the meeting number 833-4440-6471. Then, when you're prompted, enter the passcode 185489. One more time, to enter the Zoom meeting live, the phone number is 1-778-907-2071. And when you're prompted, enter the meeting ID 833-4440-6471. And then, after that, enter the passcode 185489, followed by the number sign. Or you could simply call in to 250-749-6681. Once again, that telephone number is 250-749-6681, and we'll be able to listen to your comments on the telephone over top of our meeting. Okay, so the ground rules for the public hearing process. For the sake of order, we need to establish these ground rules for the public hearing, and they are applicable to each of the bylaws that are the subject of this hearing, and they are as follows. Each member of the public will have 3 minutes to speak on each of the bylaws. The input should be strictly on the bylaw that is the subject of the public hearing. If time permits, you may take your turn to speak again after all members have spoken. Before speaking, you must state your full name and address. As stated earlier, your input must deal strictly with the contents of the bylaws, and no deviation will be permitted. There will be no debate permitted. Council members may ask you for clarification of input being provided. After that, the mayor may ask the public if there are any questions on the process. If not, the CEO can introduce the first amending bylaw. Mr. Fernandez.
I will certainly do that. The first bylaw that we're dealing with is the official community plan bylaw amendment 1053-2021. An application was received from Royal Self Storage Limited that also proposes to amend the official community bylaw 1022-2019 for a property that it owns in Lake Cowichan, legally described as Lot 1, Plan VIP 15990, with the civic address of 21 Oak Lane. Hence, bylaw 1053-2021 to amend the official community plan bylaw 1022-2019 is the subject of this hearing. The proposed change to a zoning designation triggered a requirement for an official plan amendment. Bylaws enacted subsequent to the adoption of an official community plan, and particularly zoning bylaws, must be consistent with the official community plan. The amendment request has triggered a map change that would redesignate the 4.67 hectare subject parcel from institutional to urban neighborhood compact. This change would allow for consideration of a zoning to multifamily residential zone. The required public notices under the Local Government Act have also been issued for this, and all land use amendment laws that are the subject of this hearing and all statutory requirements have been met. The public have had the opportunity to review the amending bylaw and applicable related documents in the meantime. No written submission on this amending bylaw has been received.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez. So once again, we have received no written submissions on the first bylaw, amending bylaw 1053-2021. So before we move into the public input process, I believe the proponent is on the line and ready to speak for 3 minutes. Is he with us or not, Mr. Fernandez?
It's not yet. Maybe you want to give him a minute?
Okay. Is there anybody else in the queue to speak?
No one
Not
else.
at this point. All
No.
right.
Yeah, there's somebody on now.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Okay, I'll put you on the speakerphone. Okay. Mr. John Rule is on.
Good evening, Mr. Roller. Just a reminder now that you have 3 minutes for your presentation, and we can start the clock now.
Longer, but it's complicated. Thank you, Mayor Day and council members and staff. My name is John Roller, owner of 21 Oak Lynn. This is a rezoning application to amend the zoning of the property from P1 to R3 multifamily residential. Also, because the land is located within a few DP areas, an OCP amendment is required. My proposal is to build a 56-unit attainable 1 and 2 level townhouse development with 12 one-bedroom secondary suites. The housing mix will allow for a diverse range of residents, including singles, couples, families, and seniors of differing levels of income. All units will have a dedicated receptacle for electric vehicles and energy-efficient features throughout. The goal of the application is to provide an opportunity to build new, efficient townhomes at a size and ownership cost that is largely missing from the current housing mix in the town. A core consideration of this development is the protection of natural environment. Of the 11.56 acres, approximately 35% will remain undeveloped to preserve riparian wetlands and green spaces. I am prepared to register a covenant to protect these areas in perpetuity. The development addresses the needs of this type of housing in Lake Couch. 80% of the stock in the town are single-family homes, with over 50% built before 1980. Townhouses provide an affordable alternative for first-time buyers, working families, and seniors. New diversity in the housing market will attract new residents and maintain existing ones as housing needs and circumstances change. The town will benefit from expanded tax base and new residents to support local businesses. Approximately $200,000 will be paid in development cost charges and $100,000 for building and plumbing permits. This proposal is consistent with the OCP's objectives. For example, item 2.6, housing policy direction, recommends that housing choices be expanded and affordability be improved. Item 5.2, housing and urban neighborhood goal, places particular emphasis on the diversification of the town's housing mix. By preserving the riparian areas and green spaces, this proposal achieves the objectives in item 3.1 natural environmental goals.
30 seconds left.
I got to finish off here if I could. Gross Lake Way will be the primary access to the property. A Strata Road will run within the development, having a gate on Oak Lane side for emergency access and maintenance use. A traffic impact assessment was completed by Watt Consulting Group. The report clearly concludes the development will not impact the capacity of Gross Lake Way nor the operations at the fire hall, public work access, and Paulson School. An additional report from Watt Consulting Group clearly states that there should be a gate in the Oak Lane side to not permit regular use by vehicle traffic. Without having a gate, encourages more travel and promotes the car over active transportation, which is the opposite of the goal of the active transportation plan network.
Okay, Mr. Roller, I'm going to have to interrupt. Your 3 minutes is a little bit over on here. Mr. Fernandez.
Mayor, I would move that we allow Mr. Roller to continue and finish his presentation.
Seconded by Councilor Vomaka. Then I'll call the question on that. Just a moment, please. I'll call the question on that. All those in favor? And opposed? And Councilor Sandu, I didn't see your hand. You're okay? Okay. All right. So we will reset and start another 3 minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Roller.
I'm trying to go as quick as I can.
Thank you.
The additional report from Watt Consulting Group clearly states that there should be a gate at the Oak Lane side to not permit regular use by vehicle traffic. Without having a gate, the court encourages more vehicle travel and promotes the car over active transportation, which is the opposite of the goal of the active transportation network. Fire codes do not require a secondary access point to the development. I will provide one. A gate access is not a significant barrier. It needs to be opened in an emergency by key or bolt cutter. A public free road would add approximately 7,000 square feet of additional asphalt, leading to an increased runoff and loss of green space. 97 signatures of support were gathered from residents within the community. This includes 43 signatures of support from residents of Brookside and Brookside Village townhouse development next door. J.H. Boyd was closed 38 years ago. Former school sites, Stanley Gordon, A.B. Greenwell, also sit vacant and unused. According to report in the OCP, there is no need for any additional school sites to accommodate a projected enrollment increase. The town has approximately 160 acres of P1 zone land within its boundaries. This equates to around 2,000 square feet of area for every resident. Institutional use is permitted in all P1 zone lands. So I'm almost done. So I'm closing. 20% of the units will have one-bedroom rental suites, which satisfies the affordable housing policy. Public safety regarding access to the site has been satisfied. There are facts from a professional traffic operations engineer, not opinions from staff. Community amenities. I'm in favor of a multi-use trail along the southern edge of the property. In addition, I'm going to offer $500 per unit for off-site recreational facilities or for an affordable housing fund payable at the building permit stage. 35% of the property will be protected from the development forever. Split zoning of property is not necessary. The building site coverage on the buildable portion of the land is less than 20%. Thanks for your time. Thanks for letting me go on.
Thank you, Mr. Roller. So are there any questions?
To answer any questions?
Yeah, are there any clarifying questions from council on that? Councilor McGonigal.
Through you, if I may, thank you, Mr. Roller, for bringing us up to speed on the intent of the rezoning. You did mention Stanley Gordon and A.B. Greenwell as P1. Unfortunately, both of those properties reside within Crown lands, and that in itself is problematic. One of the points you made was a gated access on Oak Lane. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's in that report that I sent you.
Thank you very much. And finally, if I may, through you, Mayor Day, through this process on getting us here, have you worked with staff or elected officials to get where we are today?
Pardon me?
So where we are today on the public hearing portion, have you worked with staff and elected officials to get us to where we are tonight?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. So no other questions from council. Mr. Fernandez, is there anybody from the public ready to ask questions or make comments? Sorry.
Nothing, nobody at all.
Hey, may I
All right.
ask one more question? Did you guys receive those 97 signatures that were sent in?
They had an opportunity to review it, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So there's nobody on the line from the public. So I will ask a second time. Is there any further input from the public? Once again, the simplest way to dial in from the public is to call 250-749-6681. I'll ask a third and final time. Is there any input from the public? Okay, I don't hear the phone ring, Mr. Fernandez. There is nobody dialed in.
I've just got Mr. Rolo still on the line, but he's here for the next amending bylaw.
Okay. All right. All right. Then, with the closure, I now declare this public hearing closed on this particular bylaw, amending bylaw. With the closure of this hearing, no further verbal input or written presentations on the amending bylaw will be received by council or any member of council. The proposed official community plan amending bylaw will be returned to council for further consideration. Therefore, we can move on to the next bylaw, amending bylaw. And-
Before you, there was another call that just
Oh.
came through.
All right. I guess we have to have patience given the process.
Okay. Oh, they hung up.
Okay, so for the sake of fairness here, we'll give that person another 30 seconds to
do it.
dial in. Pardon me?
Yes.
All right. So hopefully that person is still tuned in and redialing.
Well, they can come into the next bylaw. Okay, I've got that individual now.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I now hooked into the YouTube?
No, you're coming in on the phone, but to the members of council.
Okay, great. Because I'm watching YouTube and I can't get the chat to work, so
Okay.
that's why I'm trying to phone. And Bob had said that you could call, so
So if you could please introduce yourself and give us your address, and then you have 3 minutes to make comments.
Kelly, and I'm at 145 McDonald Road.
Okay, welcome Sharon, and I'll start the clock now for your 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, because there's somebody else speaking right now, so I'm confused.
You got the TV on, probably.
Oh, okay. So you want me to speak now? That's fine. I was really surprised that I didn't get a notice about this amendment. And I just found out like 2 minutes to 6 that unfortunately I was in the wrong YouTube video, so I just joined about 5 minutes ago. I'm just wanting to express my concern about traffic on McDonald. Before with the original proposal that came through, one of the reasons, and this is several years ago, it was turned down, was how much traffic there was going to be going up McDonald and then on turning off on Oak Lane. So I just wanted to get some more details about how the expectation is that's going to work, because it's a very quiet street, and it would be with a large development there, it could really affect our quality of life here in McDonald. And so I'm just expressing my concern about the amount of traffic that potentially could be driving down McDonald. So that's really all I wanted to say at this point. I just want more details.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Kelly. We'll take the questions you asked as comments, because this is not a space for asking questions, but I think council has heard your remarks. And so just for clarification though, this process is advertised in advance in the local newspaper, and the agendas are always available on the town website under agendas and minutes and meeting schedules. So if you're concerned with that, you'll need to keep eyes on those two places. That's the official place where notifications are given, the newspaper and the town website. So thank you very much.
Living on McDonald, I would have thought I'd have something that would tell me about this. And I go on town happenings almost every day, and I never saw anything. So sorry, which newspaper would it be in?
The Lake Cowichan Gazette, and not the town happenings, the town website. We don't, Facebook is not our official place of just reading news.
Yeah. I don't think I'm the only person in town that doesn't think to go on the town website. That's why I would have thought, when they were going to put the marijuana retail store in at the Grab and Go, I got something in the mail about it. I think that something that's going to have a huge impact on me in terms of the amount of traffic on McDonald would have brought about at least some sort of notice to me, because, my next door neighbor doesn't even have a computer. So it would have been helpful to have had some form of notice. I don't buy the Gazette. So, I don't think that's good enough. So I'm just going to state that there should have been some other way to let residents know here on McDonald, because this impacts us a heck of a lot if we're going to have huge traffic from a residential complex being built up there. I mean, really, I don't think it was good enough. Just going to state that. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Kelly, and your comments will be taken into consideration. So thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez, anybody else on the line?
There should be some other way to let residents know here on McDonald, because
Oh, so now we get to hear that after, right? Because of the delay. All right. So nobody else on the line, Mr. Fernandez,
Just Mr. Roller, but he's waiting for the second bylaw, I think.
for the next one? All right. All right. Mr. Fernandez, I believe I missed a step on here. I didn't give you a chance to introduce this bylaw.
You want me to go with the next bylaw?
Well, I will ask for a second and third time before we do that.
Oh,
For
no,
this
there's another
bylaw.
call coming through.
All right.
Good afternoon.
I would like to talk to the council, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Brian Dowling. I'm at 300 Gross Lake Way, and I heartily approve of this new construction and development going in here. The area is an eyesore. It has derelicts, and the old school is ready to be burnt down, and it has people going in there. So I have the interest of what I would believe would be the best for the community. It would give the municipal more income through taxes, And I think it would be the best thing at all for not only the community, but for the businesses that are here in the constructions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so with that, how about we move on to the second amending bylaw now, and I allow the CAO to introduce that bylaw. Mr.
Zoning
Fernandez.
bylaw amendment 1054 to 2021. Zoning amendment bylaw 1054 2021 intends to amend the zoning of Lot 1, Plan VIP 15990 from P1 public use to R3 multifamily residential zone. The application for the zoning change, as indicated earlier, was initiated by the applicant earlier referenced. The zoning proposal is contained in the amending bylaw also intends to add density bonus, affordable housing, and an amenities contribution. The required public notices under the Local Government Act have also been issued for the zoning bylaw amendment, and all statutory requirements have been met. Several written submissions have been received as of the close of the business day today. We had a letter in support and a petition with a number of signatures that also supported the application. And you may be interested in knowing that one of the individuals who signed the petition also wrote a letter opposing the proposal, proposed amendment. And so we have a number of people that also signed letters opposing the amending bylaw. The public have had an opportunity to review the amending bylaw and applicable related documents in the meantime.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fernandez. As noted by the CAO, he has indicated we have received written submissions on this amending bylaw. Now we will invite the verbal input from the public. Each speaker must, for the record, state his or her name and address before beginning the verbal submission on this bylaw, amending bylaw 1054-2021. So with that, we'll give a moment or two for folks to dial in for comments on this bylaw. And to keep it
Don
simple,
Roller.
okay,
Don
Mr. Roller,
Roller.
you're still on the line. Mr. Roller, once again, you have 3 minutes.
Now, we will invite the verbal input of the public.
Yes, was
Speaker must
Mr. Roller.
state his or her name and address before beginning verbal submission on this bylaw, amending bylaw 1054-2021.
Mr. Roller,
Hello.
go on.
Yes, last time I spoke, I covered both the OCP amendment and the rezoning. So I think we went through it. I don't think you want me to read it again because it'll take a lot.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roller. And yes, we did hear your first round of comments.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Okay,
Great, thank you.
so
Thank you.
with that, now we can invite further input from the public. Each speaker must, for the record, state his or her name and address before beginning the verbal submission. Once again, that telephone number is 250-749-6681 is the easiest way to dial in and be heard. Nobody on the line, Mr. Fernandez?
Nobody.
Then for the second time, I will call for public input via the telephone 250-749-6681. And once again, for the third and final time, I will call for public input via telephone on this amending bylaw 1054-2021. You can call in to 250-749-6681. Seeing no action on the telephone lines, this proposed zoning bylaw amendment will be returned to council for further consideration. With the closure of this hearing, verbal or written presentations will not be received by council or sent to council or any member of council. Sorry, I'm reading from the script, and the script was a little bit confusing at that point. So that gives us an opportunity now to move on to the third and final bylaw at this public hearing tonight. It's bylaw 1061-2021. And for the sake of order, the same ground rules will apply as earlier established, and it will apply for the next portion of this hearing. The CAO can now introduce this bylaw, Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, bylaw amendment 1061-2021 to amend the official community bylaw 1022-2019 was initiated by council. The OCB amendment addresses the riparian areas, map and text, and wildfire development permit map. First issue that the bylaw addresses is adding map 3 watercourse and streamside protection development permit area 1, which was inadvertently left out of the updated official community plan in 2019. In addition, the text of the development permit area guidelines for this development permit have been revised to correctly distinguish between a development permit assessment area, which is shown on the map, and a streamside protection and enhancement area sphere, which is determined by a qualified environmental professional. The amendment adds a new map 5, which is dealing with national hazard lands, wildfire development permit area DP5, that was not completed at the time the plan was adopted in 2019. The required notices under the Local Government Act have been issued for the zoning for the official bylaw amendment, and all statutory requirements have been met. No written submissions were received at the close of the business day today for this bylaw.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez. So as the CEO has indicated, we have received no written submissions on this amending bylaw. And now that gives us an opportunity to invite public input on this amending bylaw 1061-2021. Just a reminder, the speaker must for the record state his name and address before beginning the verbal submission, and then we'll have 3 minutes to speak. And you can call in to leave your verbal submission by calling 250-749-6681.
There's a call coming in.
Okay.
And now that gives us an opportunity to invite public input on this amending bylaw 1061.
Hello,
Hello.
go ahead.
Oh, hi, it's John Roller again. I was just looking at the streamside map. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just for the streamside map, there's some inaccuracies on it. It appears that there's streams running north to south, right straight through Brookside Village. And also the hazard land map shows it has for years and years. It shows within the ball field of my property, it shows that there's significant slopes right in the ball field. So I just wonder if they can kind of correct that a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roller, and I'm sure staff will have a look at that. And if there's an issue, they will bring it up. Thank you for
Great,
bringing
thank
that. All right.
Right, bye.
So with that, I'll call for a second time for verbal submissions on amending bylaw 1061-2021 and to telephone number 749-6681 for those wishing to leave a verbal comment with us. don't hear the phone ring. So for the third and final time, I will offer the public a chance to call in to 250-749-6681 to leave verbal comment on zoning amendment bylaw 1061, 2021. Okay, so with that, the proposed official community plan amendment bylaw will be returned to council for further consideration. So with that, I will now declare this public hearing on the amending land use bylaws adjourned. Oh, Mr. Councilor McGonigal, sorry.
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate spot for this question, but I will approach it, and then if not, I will return it to the regular portion. Just through to our contract planner. Had this amendment for the P1 property not been brought forward, would these amending official community plan amendments be implemented without that application?
Mr. Van Hemert, you are muted,
Yes.
sir. Oh, there you
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. If I understand the question, Councillor McGonigal, it's related to the OCP amendment. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, sir, on the water courses and the SPIA, et cetera.
Oh, okay. Yes. So this amendment was brought forward by staff. So there's no applicant involved. It's basically a town-driven amendment because of the reasons the CAO mentioned, that these are things that were inadvertently left out or weren't complete. And that's why this has been moved forward. Does that answer the question? I'm not sure I heard everything.
No, that's exactly what I was wondering, if it was an oversight on when the official community plan was updated, or if it was brought on by the application.
Yeah,
Both.
yeah, it was both. One was an oversight, but none of it was actually based on any particular application. One was an oversight inadvertently, and the other one was just the fact that we didn't have the wildfire mapping information available when the rest of the plan was moving forward. And it was decided it was in the best interest to just keep the OCP moving forward and add the wildfire map later. So.
Thank you for that clarification. That helps.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Van Hemert, and good question, Councilor McGonigal. So if there's nobody else with any clarifying questions, then I will now declare this public hearing on the amending land use bylaws adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you to the public who participated tonight. And so for now, we will adjourn and re-adjourn in a few moments. Let's call it 6:40, if that makes sense to anybody, because we need to leave this meeting and restart
Come back.
on Zoom.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll see everybody back here at 6:40. Thank you very much.
Okay.